It's all yours, Shelley.
Okay, thanks, Nada, and thanks everybody for joining here tonight. Yeah, we're all excited from Impact Summit. So now is a really great chance to kind of take some of the information that we learned from the different speakers and start to implement it. So one of the things when Alan Blaine was on the stage, he was talking about you you get your vision, you develop your vision, and then from the vision, you figure out what your goal should be to reach the vision, and then you need to make a plan on reaching those goals to reach your vision. And so I think at the beginning, we have to figure out what our vision is um and and you know what, that's constantly changing. And I don't know about you, but I know when I was teaching, I mean, I was in the classroom and I just came to work and I did my curriculum, and I didn't really think about the vision while I was working because I was kind of all laid out for me. And what I was doing outside of that was just kind of like the day-to-day hustle and bustle of family life. Now it's a little different because we have our business and we are, as Alan said, the CEO of our business. And so it's really important to have a path or a vision on where you want to be going, not only in your business, but also in your life. And and I remember my husband being a businessman for many years, when I would say, okay, so I'm starting to do this with Neo Life, you know, where should I be going and what should I be doing? And the first thing he would say to me is, well, what's your vision? And I'd go, like, what do you mean? Can you walk me through it? And he goes, well, no, it's all about you. You got to feel it. You got to want it. You got to know where you're kind of heading. It's kind of like your roadmap for your life. And it is evolving. So I'm going to say, when I talked about that, I started with a book called Living Forward, and this is it by Michael Hyatt. This was the book that I was referring to, and this is quite in depth. So we're certainly not going there with like through this tonight. So we're just going to be touching on the surface. We're going to do a three-part series of visions and then goals and plans, but it's the tip of the iceberg because I started doing my vision 5 years ago, and it has evolved and it has changed, each year. And each time I kind of figure out, what's missing in my life, what I want in my life. And so I'm going to ask you to kind of think about something as we go through this. So get a piece of paper in front of you. And I want you to just kind of put a big plus sign, divide it into 4 quadrants. Okay. And on one of the quadrants, and I'll show you my original one, that kind of is more than Neo Life. It is like everything in my life, right? Everything in my life, family, friends, and Neo Life. So up in the first corner, I want you to write down physical health. And then beside it in the next quarter, I want you to write down business finances. And then in the lower left one, I want you to write relationships. And then the one beside it, spiritual, emotional. And you might even find, it depends how your brain works because everybody is different. You might find as you develop this that you want to switch those orders because something else is more important to you. So you want it up at the top versus the bottom, or you want to be, so this is for you to play with. There is no right and wrong answers. What somebody does is not necessarily what you choose. And like I said, it's constantly evolving. So in this book, the first thing that they kind of talk about is, what do you want your life to look like when people talk to you at your eulogy, when they say your eulogy? right? So here's a big thing. Here's a question. How do you want to be remembered? In planning anything, the best place to begin is at the end. What outcome do you want? How do you want your story to end? How do you want to be remembered when you are gone? What legacy do you want? Okay, so and then what really matters to you might be another thing to kind of think about. You know what's important to your parents, you know what's important to your spouse or a friend, but do you really know what's important to you? You might know what's important, you know, to a boss that you're working for, but what matters the most to you? And those are kind of the two questions that this book talks about. There's a third one, but it doesn't really apply so much to the vision. It's more the plan. So what I want you to kind of look at, we'll do a little bit in each section, and know that you don't have to get it all down tonight. Even if you get one thing, great, because you're going to keep adding to it. So I'm going to say under health and fitness, I'll just kind of share for me. You know, I want to be a healthy eater. I want to be able to snack sensibly. I want to be able to make 3 healthy meals a day, because being in the kitchen isn't my thing. So I had to actually write that down as something that I wanted to really focus on. I want cycling is my thing, and kayaking is my thing. So I have that down for being health. I want to be active with that. I'm not going to put down on my old ones. I put down running because I was a runner. But now that's not as important to me as kayaking and cycling and lifting weights. So those are the things that I put in there. I want confidence when I get out, because after breaking my leg, I need to build back my confidence to be doing these things. So I want you to write down 1, 2, 3 things that are really important to you right now for your health and fitness. And you know what? We're just going to unmute for a second, Nada. And I want people to just call a couple of things out. It's okay, Heather, because I'll do it stage by stage anyway, so you'll get them.
And you know what, Shelley, I think we might have made a little boo-boo. I think we should welcome our brand new promoter to your team that's just joining us for the first time.
Oh, absolutely, Kamea. Yes. Welcome, welcome.
Welcome, Kamea.
Thank you. It's exciting.
So what did you have a thought down, Kamea, or anybody else have a thought for what they want for health or fitness? Just shout out one thing and we'll kind of get a few ideas, and other people might go, oh my gosh, that's mine too.
A regular exercise.
Regular exercise. Awesome.
Smaller portions, and I've started already when I was at the summit. Smaller portions.
Awesome.
I was gonna say stronger body for me.
Stronger body, awesome.
Lose weight.
Lose some weight, sure. Yeah, absolutely.
Better cardio.
Better cardio, yeah.
Is this for now or on our eulogy?
Another good one.
Do you know what? It can kind of be for both. It could be where you want to get, or it could be I have to do it now because it's working towards something that I want.
Okay, thanks.
Yeah. Anybody else have an idea? Okay, so we kind of have a start there. Let's go to the next one, which was business and finances. And so under business and finance, you know, that's going to be more Neolife related. However, like it could be, and it doesn't, you know, for me, where am I putting business and finance? I actually, on my original one, called it team growth and development, you know, but I had share from the heart, right? I had going on a plane because it's my connection money. I have being authentic. I have consistency as a word. Yeah, so it could be anything that's kind of related, what you want for your, how you want to be known in your business, how you want to be known.
Or it could be a goal too. Could it not be like like something that you want to accomplish?
Do you know what it could be? It could be part of that, could be part of your vision, and then it also slides over to your goal at, yep, absolutely. Because you'll find that things overlap. And sometimes you know, you want to put it in one quadrant, but it kind of is similar to another one, and that's okay.
Mm.
You know, because obviously I have community, but that also is relationships.
Right.
Right? So it's not an exact science, it's just getting a few ideas down. And as you keep working through this, and the idea is, you know, we do these 3 weeks as a series, and then we do some other things, and then we come back again and let's revisit it again, because things keep evolving and changing, right? Okay. So I would say here, I mean, you're not really putting down, it's more of a goal when you write down, I want to be Sapphire or President's Team and stuff. And you can write it down there, but some of the things might be, you know, that you are passionate about it, that you know, helped others, that yeah, you just loved what you did. You know, so it can be actually anything that you feel is pertinent to you having your business and your finance. And it can be, I want to make $100,000, you know.
Yeah, like I told my kids today that I want to take them to like a trip, like, you know, how I went to Israel. They have no desire to go to Israel. And then I was thinking of Egypt. They have no desire to go to Egypt. But then I said to them, well, you know, how, but because they like, anyway, so then I thought, how about a European? And they kind of went, you know, that might be better, Mom. So I'm like, okay. So anyways, I just wanted to have someone to take them somewhere that I knew they wouldn't do without me.
Absolutely. Absolutely. So that's a goal through your business, to be able to do that with your family. Any other ideas that people have for business and finance?
One thing that I've always wanted to do is take either my dad or my dad and my mom to a like NBA championship, kind of like there's like all-star games, like courtside kind of stuff.
Awesome.
That's cool.
Awesome. Write it down there. Awesome.
Make sure you take me.
I think he said my mom, so I think that doesn't.
No, he said mom
No,
and
he said
dad.
my dad or my mom and dad.
We'll make 2 trips.
Yeah.
It's
Yeah,
his
right. Might have to
vision,
do a mom and
Leonie,
dad
not
thing, and
yours.
then a mom and
But
a
he
mom
just
son
said,
thing,
and then my
a
mom.
dad and
Okay.
son thing. Okay. Anybody else have some ideas for business and finance?
I was going to say, just like, I know it's very general, but when you I think of financial freedom, but that, because it encompasses so much, right? Like you could do anything you want. Like if that type of an opportunity comes where you can go to the all-star game, you don't have to think about it. You know what I mean?
Absolutely.
So that kind of, or even giving back, like you want to give to an organization, you don't have to think, oh, okay, like, can I do it? Should I do it? It's just available for you to do.
Absolutely. Yeah. It could be paying off the mortgage, might be on there, right?
I want to live off my near life income and save the nest egg as capital.
Fabulous.
Or savings. Just keep it intact.
Yeah.
Live off near life.
It's whatever is important to you. Whatever is going to, because this also fits into your why. Because as you know what that vision is, as you know where you want to be as you travel down your life, then you have a reason and a why, so that when, you know, you're building your business and you're talking to people, and we all have the ups and then we have the downs when it doesn't go so well. But if you know that you have this plan and this vision that, oh my gosh, I want to be there, you'll be able to continue through it. You'll be able to make it through, because it's like, yep, you know, I got 20 no's and I'm done. Well, no, because keep moving, because you have that vision, you have that dream that'll help you, and this will help you get there. So it's part of your, you know, it helps develop your why. Anything else for business finance?
I'd like to see my family next, the family in Singapore. And my aim is to go there by next year, towards the end of the year. That's a big goal
Awesome.
for me. Yeah.
Awesome. Yeah. So that kind of goes on to the next spot in terms of the goals. So right now, though, you see yourself going to Singapore.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Yeah. And so right now we're doing words, but you know, as you can see from different things, like I turn them into pictures, right? So, you know, if you know that you want to go traveling to Singapore, get a picture of your family and stick it on, get a picture of Singapore and stick it on, get a picture of going to the actual, you know, a game and stick it on. So it's a little bit more of a visual, not just a word.
Yeah.
Okay, the next quadrant will be relationships. And, you know, relationships can kind of encompass different things. So outside neo life, I'm going to say, like, I have, you know, like my son and daughter there, my son and daughter-in-law, and then I have my nieces and nephews who I'm connecting with and seeing all the great nieces and nephews. And then I actually have under this one, you know, the different causes that I support. So I've got the different puppies and I've got the kittens for the cat shelter. And I have my mom up here too as part of relationships. But then I also have the team like from Neolife. This is kind of like the team and the huddle from everybody from Neolife. So whatever your relationships you would want to develop so that whoever is standing up at, you know, at your eulogy and saying, you know, being connected with us was so important to Aunt Shelley, to mom, to, you know, whatever that person, to my friend Shelley, you know, whoever would be talking. And then that gives you that vision of how you want to stay, you know, connected with them. So it's any type of relationship. And sometimes, you know, there might be a relationship that's a bit rocky, but you hope that it gets better so that by the time, you know, they're saying your eulogy, you've mended those fences or however you want to look at it. And it might not be something that you deal with now, it's something that you deal with later on, but it's just something in your vision that you see changing. Okay. Any ideas for relationships? Call them out.
I just want to maintain my church family, my Neolife family, my family.
Yeah.
The whole families. It's basically
Absolutely.
that's why I'm involved. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Anybody else?
Mine's with my sisters because there's a lot of, you know, chaos going on with what's happening here at the house and building in the addition and helping her with her kids. And then my other sister's in Windsor, and like it's just trying to keep that family calmness between all of us, and even my sons Jack and Luke, because I'm finding that it's hard as a mom to let them go and become adults. So learning to kind of, even my oldest son came by today, and I hear from him often, but Luke not, different personalities. So I get this emotional kind of like, you know, they don't miss you or they don't want to, you know, they don't need you as much anymore. And I had to let that go. And when Jack came over today, I just so grateful to keep that relationship. I have to find a way to keep that connection with both boys.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Yep. And that's why this evolves so much, because, you know, as people change, as people grow up, as people age, whatever the relationship is, it'll keep changing. Anything else that anyone wants to add? Okay, the fourth quarter then is spiritual and emotional. And I did a little bit more of the causes when I spoke on stage. My huge vision board here is having things more along, you know, the church and yoga and singing, because for that gives me a lot of being in plays. You know, even a quote that says, you can tell when people are truly happy, their energy is genuine. I have the word nature because I love to be in nature, and that's very calming walking through that. So, you know, everything is different for everybody as to where you get your, some people it's reading, some people it's, you know, can be anything. Anybody have some ideas for spiritual emotional?
Well, it's something I started, Shelley, was I started to read the Bible and I find it so confusing. And I thought my goal is to finish it from beginning to end. And it was like, ah! So, and then Laura May gave me this book, which is it's a condensed just the scripture. And it's called Our Daily Bread. And it's literally just one scripture a day, just so that you have a better understanding on what that verse means. Because anyways, I just wanted to get more familiar with what the verses mean and how to relate them to life. So that was one of the things that I've had a goal. Just
Wonderful.
Yeah.
That's great. Anybody else have other things that are part of their?
I put more time like in community.
Yeah. Just connecting more with your community.
Yeah. I really need that. Notice how good it
yeah.
is for you, right? Yeah.
Yeah.
Awesome.
You're in
you
the
found
right
a new
community,
you found a new community.
Yeah. That's what I was gonna say. You found the right one.
Yeah, for sure.
Hey, Joan's
Anybody
on.
else?
Hey, welcome, Joan.
Joan
just welcome. Joan just joined in too, Shelley. So just welcome, Joan. Hey, Joni.
And that one, Kamea, can be part of relationships too, depending. And that's what I say, it overlaps, but absolutely spiritual, emotional. Anybody else have some other things for spiritual, emotional? Anybody else like nature like me? Or the water? Maybe it's the water.
Yeah, I just said
me.
Grounded, like staying grounded in my faith, and then even like it's not just faith, but that's a big part for me. But then even just like connecting with people on a deeper level, and a part of that is like just walking, being in nature, and sometimes just giving myself that time to be grounded. I think that's really the word, right? Like,
well, that one, and I also picked up from you just the word faith. And faith can mean so many things to different people. It can be faith as in the church and a religion. It can be faith in yourself, kind of like the belief and the faith that, moving forward, that you can do things. So it might be in different spots. Anybody else have ideas? Okay, so when you're looking at this, and like I said, it's going to evolve. So you can make it look how you want so that it really impacts you. I actually have this hanging beside my desk so that when I come in the morning, I'm looking at it so that I know that I'm working towards this vision. And then even throughout the year, like when I kind of come up with something else, I've just written it on a little sticky note. And then this one here, that one's more over here. So then I stick it in that area, because then at the end of the year, when I'm kind of revisiting this as to, what worked really well, and has my vision changed for my life moving forward? Am I going to shift something? Am I taking something off? Am I adding something? I have these little notes stuck on it that, kind of impacted me throughout the year, right? So as we do this 3-part series, the next thing we're going to be working on is goals, and then we're going to be working on a plan to reach those goals. So as you look through your 4 quadrants, you kind of have to figure out yourself, because you can't do it all at once. I mean, people can try, but it will be extremely challenging, and you could get very frustrated and get overwhelmed. So, you might look at your vision board and say, do you know what? Like, I'm pretty solid. I'm pretty solid with my spiritual and emotional aspect of it. But my health and fitness really needs some focus right now. So I want to focus just on that quadrant for a while. And that might be, if we're connecting it then with neo-life, what I need to do with the different products that I want to use, what I want to do with my meal choices, what I want to do, maybe if somebody had mentioned weight loss, maybe it's to, go out and get a group of people together to do the Proven 33 or the neo-life or the neo-fit 90 as a group, right? Because that is your focus. Other people will say, okay, do you know what? I kind of need a little bit of a couple. And so you'll pick something Try not to pick 3, 4, 5 in one area because it's too much. Just work on one. It's kind of like you have this little board and you know, some things work really well and some things aren't working and other things are, and you're just trying to move them all up a little bit so that they can get to a really good level that you're happy with and content with. Yeah, so you'll bounce around a little bit. So as you kind of look at what you want under your business and finance, because that's what we're going to focus on, you know, the next 2 weeks, just setting some goals and plans for your Neolife business, but you can also do it in the other areas in your spare time. Because, you know, for me, when I look at, let's say, let me think here, spiritual, emotional, you know, one of the things that was on my board was singing. And so, yeah, so my goal when I started out was to find a choir, right? And now that I am, that's kind of, I'm content where I am, right? So I don't have to work on that each time. So right now, so until next Tuesday when we meet, pick something under your business and finance that you want to work towards, because we're going to be looking at some goals to set to help you get there. Okay. Does that make sense?
Mm-hmm. So Shelley,
Okay.
are you gonna work with them like through like the, in order to accomplish that, like the PV and what it looks like, or just in general? Okay, just so we can visualize
absolutely.
that. Okay.
It's going to be the actual specifics of, you know, this is how much PV you need. This is how many products need to leave the warehouse. This is, you know, so that you have a general idea, because when this happens, this is how much money you will earn. So it would be a good idea to also, if you say that you want to go, well, let's say that you want to go to the basketball game. You need to figure out how much money that's going to cost you to get there, right? How much for whether you're going by the TTC, whether you're driving, how much for the food, how much for the tickets. So you need an amount. So then, you know, we can go from there to the next one, which is the plan, right?
Right.
Okay. And if it's a bigger, loftier goal, like you want to travel somewhere, well, figure it all out with your flights. We can also look at, you know, going to Las Vegas next year.
Mm-hmm.
You know, you need $149 for the ticket. You need, you know, how much for your flights, how much for whatever. Figure it all out. So then you can figure out what you need to do and put aside as part of your plan as you grow your business, right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's really important.
Yep. So, you know, you might want to put under, you will want to put under business and finance, Las Vegas.
Right.
Because that's something, yes, it's not at the eulogy, but it is part of your vision to move you forward.
Right.
Right. Any other questions? Any other thoughts about the vision? Anything that you kind of went, oh, do you know what? That just popped into my mind. Oh my gosh. Yeah, I need to write that down. I know for myself, when I looked, a lot of times there's a bit of a theme that kind of runs through it. And when I look at my general vision board, and this is kind of what I talked about when I was on stage, my connecting words was connection. You know, because when I looked at, you know, health and fitness, it was, you know, being healthy enough to connect with groups, to go out and be active. You know, being healthy, even when I broke my leg, then I had the connection with the community and the relationships, you know, within the Neolife family, and actually neighbors and family who came to help. You know, that was really huge. When I talk about skiing with Mitchell or going out west, it's my connection money. And definitely spiritual and emotional is, you know, connecting to the people in my choir, connecting to the people at the church, connecting with the people at yoga, you know, whatever it happens to be. So that was my kind of word. Are any of you seeing some some kind of themes that are kind of popping up? It could be anything. It could be freedom. It could be contentment. It could be.
The word I keep hearing from this weekend is transformation.
Ah.
And that's like, it actually is in every one of those quadrants, if you think of it, like you're transforming in each of those, right?
Yeah,
absolutely.
That's a great word, Rose. Absolutely.
Yeah, absolutely. And it can be, you know, a small transformation in an area, or it could be a big transformation. So it's so individual to you. This is why I love these vision boards, because, and I could look at your vision board and say, oh, wow, this is what I see. And you go, oh, well, that's not really how I feel. And that's not really what it's about, you know? So that's why it's really, really important when you make up the vision board and when we do the goals and the plans, that you talk to the person that you're working with or working alongside with, so that they know where you're coming from, so that they know how to support you. Okay. Whether this is, yes, I want to be able to, you know, Leonie, it was you who said you wanted to do something in next year. What was it? So I go to Singapore.
Going to Singapore. Yeah.
Well, that's right. So if you need this much money and your vision is to go there, well, then we got to make sure that you have your vision now and your goals and your plan match it, because, you know, at what speed or how much do you need to build, or what do you need to do to be able to get that amount of money to make it realistic that it's happening in a year.
Yeah. And
because
you know what, sorry, go ahead.
Go ahead.
No, the one word that in all the quadrants for me, it's mindset. It's a mindset to really, and it's a focused mind. It has to be a focused mindset. It's not all over the place kind of thing, right? It has to be on that particular, no strain is what I'm saying, you know? Yeah.
Oh, absolutely. Mindset is huge. And some people, you know, the personal growth as you do this is incredible, because as you keep working on the quadrants and you learn more about yourself, and then you kind of go, oh man, I just worked through that process and things are just so much better. And then you realize, wow, I was really focused at that time to get that done. I can actually do this. And then you get more belief, and it's a whole cycle that just feeds itself. Yeah. So mindset is huge for all of them, but maybe it's in more areas than others. You know, because it's easy for me to jump on a bike and go out and exercise. It's easy for me to grab my kayak because I love those things. I have to really focus on my mindset when I'm in the kitchen, because, you know, I'd rather be someplace else. So if I want that to get done, I need to really focus on that, right? So look at the things that are easy to you, and then look at the things that are more challenging, and know that it's okay for it not to be similar, you know? It doesn't have to be exact. It doesn't have to be perfect, but you just kind of learn about yourself that you have to kick in a little bit more in some areas. You might have to kick in a little bit more to be consistent in growing your Neolife business, because that vision is what's going to draw it. Yep.
Yeah, and I'm thinking that, like, when you started talking about those quadrants, I think having that clear, like, I think, like, knowing what you really want, I think that's really important too. Like, you know, when I go back, like, I didn't know anything about the products. I didn't know anything about my marketing plan, but I knew I wanted to quit my job. Like, that was my vision. I didn't know how I was going to do it, but it was like my path and my journey. And that's where, when Rose talked about the transformation and the growth, that had to happen in order for me to move along, right, in my journey. So, but I think it's having the support, like what you're doing right now as a team. I could not have done it alone. Right, what you're doing now, guiding everybody and leading us, I think that's really important, because I had Al and Annalise, I had Flo and Robin, you know, we all got to, and Jim Stevenson, like, he was a big part of that. you know, setting the goals and having that clear vision. So I think it's really important that you guys determine that. It has to be. And Shelley, you hit it on the nail, because you did that. When you took that book, you took that seriously, and you went away for a few days and you focused, right? Because you knew that you had to have that, make those changes and have that mindset and to grow right into the person you need to become stronger in your vision and in your journey, right? So I think we all need to learn from that. And I think having you guide us in that direction, we're so grateful. Hey guys, are you grateful? Shelley's taken, yeah, I know, me too.
Absolutely.
Yeah, really, really nice.
Thank you so much, Nada. And I think the other thing I want everyone to kind of realize is, like, this was a 5-year journey for me. And I was at a time in my life when I had, you know, I had retired, I had stopped. So I had more time to really focus and spend a lot on this. So you need to look at your life and kind of see where you are. So, because it doesn't have to be, and transformational is a great thing, but it doesn't have to be transformational in the next month and the next year. So pick those areas that you kind of say, this is really important to me right now, and I'm going to work on them right now. And these are the areas that I want for my business moving forward. And also know where you want in your business, whether or not you are, you know, the turtle that's doing a little bit each day, but you're just going to be consistent and keep on going. Or you're like, oh my gosh, I just want to really go. And you're going to be that rabbit that's going, in which case, let the person know that who you're working with, where you are, because the support then that you would want or is different, right? And that might change. You know, all of a sudden something opens up and you have a bit more time and you want to do more, or you have less time because of whatever is happening in your life. But the thing that's not going to, I mean, it's changing, but the thing that needs to be in the forefront is that roadmap, is that vision of where you want to go, so that it's in your mind and it's in your heart, and it just keeps you going. Okay. Any other questions? I see a hand on Rose, but I don't know. I think it's been there for a while. And I don't know. Yeah, or it's on somebody, or maybe it's mine. Oh, it is mine. Sorry, it was just kind of my cursor. It turned into a hand.
Shelley, I think it was nice when you said that sometimes, like, I think as leaders too, we have to make sure we recognize our new promoters. Sometimes we see potential in them and we know that they can do it and we want something for them, but they're not ready for that commitment. Their vision is kind of smaller. Their goals are smaller. They don't, you know, they're not all in, right? And we need to recognize those promoters in our team and find out what do they want, so we know how we can support them. And it might be, you know, you and I were talking, I think, or was it Rose, like an extra $500 a month sometimes is all somebody is really focusing on, and that would excite them. And so we need to have that creative vision on how they can get there and guide them in that direction. So sometimes the baby steps are okay, like that. We need to make sure we recognize where they want to be, and so we know how we can support them without making them feel uncomfortable and without making them feel like they're going to disappoint. And that's something that's really, really important for all of us to recognize, that, you know, our promoters will never disappoint us, because we're not doing this for us. We're helping you, right? Shelley, I know you're amazing with that. Like, you know, when you recognize what somebody wants, you know, you're going to work with them and you're going to help them become, you know, create that vision for them, but making sure that they understand that they will never disappoint us, that we'll always be there to, you know, just to keep moving forward. Okay, didn't happen this month, let's keep on trucking, right? So that's really important, because even for me, like when I had set that goal to quit my job, or, you know, I had to set a date, right? And that's really important, because when you just start talking about it, it's not as clear. As soon as I set the date, then man, things started moving so much faster. Okay. So even for your promoters, I just want to make $500 a month, set a date, right? And even the little things, you can guide them, you know, in the smaller increments on how they can get to $500 a month.
And absolutely. And that is you know, where we're headed next week in terms of setting our goals as to where we're going, and how we're going to do this. But yeah, so take some time over this week, just lay it out somewhere, because often you kind of walk past it and you go, oh, yes, and just kind of jot it down somewhere, or, you know, go and find a picture and stick it on and have some fun with it, because this is your vision, right? And even if it's outside the box, fabulous, because there's no expectations here. This is your life. This is your vision, right? This is your business. We're all here supporting each other, but it's your business, what you want from it. Yeah, and have fun with it, because it really is, when it, for me personally, as things started to fall into place, I just got so much happier, because it was what I wanted for me, with who was surrounding me, right? Yeah. So that's all, because after the 45 minutes, so we have some time. But absolutely, Leonie, if you have anything.
I just wanted to add something to what Nada was saying. I think it's very important when you have your promoters or you have your, you know, your team, that you're in constant dialogue with them, because they may say something that they want, and then they change their minds, or they have a different, you know, mindset or whatever, for whatever is changed in their thinking. I think it is important for the leader, and I'm going to say myself, that I talk to them and say, yeah, okay, every little while, okay, has your vision changed? Has it increased? Has it decreased? Has whatever? Because sometimes when you initially speak with them, they have this big vision, right? And it doesn't matter, because at the end of the day, like you said, it is their vision, it is their company, it is their business, and they have to dictate what they want. But we as leaders have to make sure that we connect more often than not, because then, you know, things change, right? Yeah, people's lives. Yeah,
absolutely. Communication is important.
Of course,
Leonie, thank you for sharing that. Yeah. And it's okay if you have a big vision. You know, it's just whether or not you're getting there tomorrow, or whether you're getting there in 2 years, or whether you're getting there in 10 years. Just write down your ideas, because obviously they were important to you and you wrote them down, right? So have some fun this week. And if you have any questions, reach out, and we will see you next Tuesday. Look forward to hearing some of the ideas that people had from doing this exercise.
Thank you so much, Shelley.
Great job.
Awesome. Thank you so much for all you do, and your leadership. And we'll see some of you at the health talk at 8 o'clock. So thank you again for joining us, and thank you, Shelley.
Hi, thank you.
Bye, Joni. Enjoy your trip.
Great job, Shelley.
See ya.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Bye.
See you.
Bye.
Bye.